Hi everyone, it's Dina and I'm back again today with another unboxing video. Today's video is going to be from the Softflex company and it's going to be the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend Design Challenge Kit that is released in the end of February. However, we don't unbox these until the end of March. So you'll be seeing this video on March 27th because Softflex will be releasing their video of the unboxing on March 26th. So stay tuned. I'll go ahead and get everything unwrapped so you don't have to listen to the crackling of the paper. And then I'll come back and show you what is in the contents of the box. And during the video of unboxing this, we'll figure out what type of tutorial that we will have at the end. So meet me back in a second and I'll show you the first part of the box. Alright, so here is a quick overview of what is inside the box. Now this strand over here is a extra strand that you can purchase outside of the box that goes along with the beads that are going to be inside the box. So I purchased that again this year, or this month. So we'll go through this strand as well, just in case you purchase this as well, so you know what, or are interested in purchasing this one. So that way you know what's in that. And then what I'll do on this next clip is I'll take some of these items out and lay them out on the bead mat, so that way you don't have to listen to me crinkle everything together. And then I'll tell you which bag and which item it came from. So that way if you're interested in just the box itself, which is all this over here, then you'll understand what's in that. And then we'll do this little guy off to the side as a separate clip. So meet me back and I'll show you that first part. Alright, so in this first segment we'll go through the findings pack that came with the kit, and then I'll show you the crimp tubes as well as the wire, because you always get some sort of wire in these packages. And then this over here is just the twine that was that the package was wrapped up in. I've got it rubber banded because it was just going all over the mat. So I've got it rubber banded so it's not so much in the way, and it's sitting underneath my wire, so that way hopefully that glare is not so bad for you, because the glare is or the package is picking up on the glare from my from my lights. And this is that extra strand, that little gray strand that was that came in the box. So we'll go through everything. So this is the wire, like I said, that you end up getting. And this month we're getting the sterling silver extreme flex wire. It's still a medium size. And it's still the 49 strand, I think. I'm trying to look for that. But the diameter is 0.019 on that. And it's 19 strands, excuse me. It does say 19 strands down there. So you get this one. That's the color that it ends up being. So it's a good silver color. So that's the wire that you get in this box. We get our little 2x2 crimp tubes. You get 20 of these. And these are really, really good crimp tubes. So those I use in a lot of my videos that I use wire with. And then the other parts of the findings packs, you get a pair of ear wires, and these are just simple little fishhook, or sometimes they're called French, and I can't tell the difference as to which ones are which, but either fishhook or French type ear wires. So just simple little pair. And then the toggle clasp that you get in, or the clasp that you get in this box, is a toggle clasp. It's got an oval for the one side and then just a plain bar for the other side. Now when I first opened this part of it, the jump ring was attached to the bar itself, kind of like the jump ring is on the oval portion. Like I'm trying to move it and it's not moving. So just be cautious with that. I was able to get the jump ring to unhook from the bar, and just by playing with it a little bit, just to kind of break it off some. But just be careful with it so you don't end up actually breaking either the jump ring or the toggle itself. So there's that. And then we get hematite daisy spacer beads. Now these are glass beads that are in the color hematite, so it's that dark gray, dark shiny gray color. So it'll be a good color combination to go with all the pinks and the silvers in this kit. So that's the first section. So the next clip we'll go through the Jesse James custom bead mix. So meet me back in a second. Alright, so this is the Jesse James portion of the kit where it's Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, and all of this came in that one little itty bitty small bag. So this is a lot of beads packed, jam-packed in that little bag. So we'll go through them. So you end up getting, what is this, 3, 6, 8. You get 8 of these pearls, and they're a white shiny pearl. They look to be about a 6 millimeter, maybe an 8 millimeter, somewhere around in there. I should get my caliper out, but that's going to make a lot of noise, so should have done that beforehand. Sorry. But you also get 4 of these guys. And these are faceted. They're opaque white colored, and they're much larger. They're closer to like a 10 millimeter, somewhere around in there, 10 or 12. But you get 4 of these, and they are faceted, so you can see, yeah, it's catching the facets in the camera a little bit. So you can see that they're also shiny, but that's the white opaque one. Then you get a clear crystal round one that is very similar, also shiny. It's just your clear crystal. You get 4 of these as well. Then you get 6 of these very interesting shapes that I couldn't even tell you what the shape is. But they are, there we go, get the camera to focus. They are kind of like a pyramid-ish, because you have your hole going up and down like right there. So I have the hole up and down in that fashion. So I'm holding it to where the hole is, I'm holding it to where the holes are on my fingers right now. So it's just a very interesting, neat, different shape. I have not seen this shape yet in beads. But it's got that silver hematite type coating on the outside of it. So it's very reflective, that you can't really see yourself in the reflection, but it gives that hint that it could be a reflective type bead like that. So these are neat. Those are different. I like getting different type beads. Then you get 2 of your rectangular fire polished, again, type beads. So they're both the same on both sides, and then your hole goes up and down this way. And then you get 3, 6, 8 of little black rondelles. And these look to be like 4x6s maybe. Little rondelles. And then continuing on, you still have more to go. You get 4 of these guys, and these guys are pretty cool. These are encased. I don't know if you can see the crystal or if you can hear it kind of moving around. That little clicking sound is the crystal. There's a crystal that's encased in that bead. Oh, you can see it right there. You can see it shining. But those are neat. I haven't gotten anything like this before either. So those are going to be fun to try to figure out how to use those in a design. So those are pretty cool. So you get 4 of those. You get 4 of pink pave style type beads. So it's like an acrylic bead that has either flat backs or small chatons that are glued or put in the process when they're making the beads to seal it in. But you have 4 of those. Those are very sparkly, very nice. You get 6 very large bicone beads, and these are transparent, very light pale pink color. And you get 6 of these, and these look like they're about a 10 millimeter or so. You get 6 of little rondelles that have a pink crystal in it this time. So that's what it looks like. And then of course, you know, it looks the same on either side that way. And then to finish off this bag, you get 4 bead caps that are a floral shape, and they're pretty large, so they're going to fit around these larger beads really, really well. But you get 4 of these to use in your products. So that's the Jesse James bag. So the next clip we'll go through the other bag. There's a total of 3 bags. We're going to go through the second bag on the next clip. Alright, so bag number 2 is going to be contents of this here on the mat. These are going to be 6mm CZ pink tourmaline rondelles. So very, very sparkly, because CZ is a very nice crystal that is very sparkly. So I like these guys. and I ended up getting 5 of these in my little bag. You get 8mm black ceramic rounds, which are these guys. I got 3 of these in the bag this time, and they're little ceramic beads. You get one 12 by 18mm black ceramic barrel bead, and so that's what mine looks like. And then the hole goes the long way through the bead. And then you end up with 7mm fire polish beads. These are check glass clear color with a rainbow iris coating on top of it. Ended up with 15 of these beads, and they're a nice little color combination to go along with the kit. So that is the end of bag number 2. So now we're going to go through bag number 3, which is the custom bead mix made by Just Bead It. Alright, so here are the contents of the custom bead mix made by Just Bead It. So we'll go through each one of these items, which this is jam-packed with beads as well. So this first one is going to be a almost fuchsia color, is kind of what it looks like to me, but these are freshwater pearls. So freshwater pearls are always going to be different shapes and slightly different sizes. You're going to have the holes go in different directions, like that one is facing up and down right now. That's right here in my finger. That hole is going in that direction, but if you look at the size of that bead compared to the size of this bead, this one almost looks like a little gumdrop. When I first got it out, I was like, oh, I got gumdrops, and then I realized, nope, these are freshwater pearls. So each one of them is going to be slightly different than the next, which makes a very nice organic look to a necklace or a bracelet. Even earrings. Then you get more of the traditional glass type round pearl beads. They're kind of hefty, so they're kind of nice. And these are in a light peachy color. It's got more of an orange tint to it. At least that's the way it looks like in with my lighting and everything. That it's like a light pink, but it's got a little bit of an orange tint. So I would say it's a light peach color. So I really like that color. Then you end up with some shell beads. These are a pink shell, and you can kind of see a little bit of a flash every once in a while. I think I just got it on camera. Hopefully I did. But there's like a little flash in that bead, so the shell beads always have a little bit of a flash to it. So you get those. And I forgot to tell you how many you get of each. Let's see, that's 5, 10. There's 15 of the freshwater pearls. Then I get 3, 6, 9, 12 of the peachy color pearls. And then I have 3, 6, 9, 12 of the shell beads. And then this is one of my favorite glass beads. I have always, since I was a little kid, loved to get the cat's eye beads and the tiger's eye beads because I love to see that little bit of a flash in them. So these are pink cat's eye beads. And you get 3, 6, 9, 12. You get 12 of these guys as well. And the next little section is some bicones. These look to be in the middle part, about 6mm or so. And to me, unless my eyes are playing tricks on me, it looks like there's 4 different colors. So I've got it in from the lightest to the darkest. So here's your more transparent pink color. Then it goes to a slightly darker color in pink. And then it goes to a even darker color of a pink. And then you end up with more of a fuchsia color. So you get all of those. You get 2 of each of those. Then you have a more darker color pink again, and a larger color or larger size bicone. And then you end up with a crystal heart, and your hole for your heart is right here at the top of the heart itself. And it's the same, so it's a see-through crystal heart. So there you can kind of see it a little bit better that way. So that is the end of the design challenge kit. So in this next clip, we'll go through that extra bead strand that you can purchase alongside with the kit that is also made by Jessie Jeans. So meet me back in a second. Alright, so here are the contents of the extra bead strand that you can purchase. made by Jesse James Beads, because I think I said Jesse Beads in the last clip. So I apologize. It's actually Jesse James Beads. So here's the extra bead strands. We'll go through everything. You get 2 of these little crystal type beads. They have like a tube that's down the center where you can string it on or use thread and needle to get these on to the project that you're working with. And then from that tube there is like a little protrusion, I don't know, something sticking out. And then at the end of that little sticky out portion is a crystal. So that's where you get all this little shininess coming from. So you get 2 of those on the strand. You get 2 sizes of pearls. So here's the smaller of the 2. This looks to be about an 8mm pearl. You get 2 of those in the white color. And then you get 2 in the same color, just a little bit larger. These look to be like a 10 or a 12mm. So you get 2 each of those. You get 2 very large rondelles. And these are an opaque white again, but it looks like it has an AB finish coating on the outside, because every once in a while you can see a little bit different of a color shine through. So then you get 2 large rondelles. You get 2 clover shaped beads, and these are a crystal color again, but you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a yellow sitting right there. So this one looks like it has a little bit of an AB finish on it as well. And the hole on these go from one of the clovers, one of the round parts of the clover down to the other side of it. So right now I have it facing in the upwards position on both of them right now for the hole wise. You get 2 barrel beads. Again, it's crystal color and it's got a little bit of an AB finish, it looks like. So you get 2 of those. These are just little, I don't know if they're clay or something like that, but they're just really lightweight little spacers that came with everything to kind of space out the beads. So you can use them in a design if you like. We got something similar to this in last month's box. So these all come in white, and got 6 of those. You get 1 of these nice large round crystals. It's kind of a flat crystal, so it looks like that. You can see a little bit better that way, I think. If I can get the camera to focus on it and not other things. Okay, that didn't work very well. But anyways, it's a nice round circle, and you can probably see that the hole goes from the top to the bottom of it, or if you choose to use it this way, it'll just go the lengthwise of the circle. You get 2 different types of rondelles that have crystals in it. This is the larger of the 2. So this one has just a clear crystal, whereas the ones that came in the other bag, the other part of the kit, it had more of a pink color. But these are larger in size. And then you get one that's a lot smaller in size. So the pink ones that we got in the kit are in between these 2 sizes. So if you wanted to use all 3 of these in a project, you could. So that one comes in the smaller of the 2. Then you get some really interesting, very neat looking bead caps, basically. So I've got this one facing one direction, and then this one's facing the other direction. So in the previous clip, when we were going through the contents of the Jesse James bag that came with the kit, there was an item that had a crystal encased in the bead itself, and this one's very similar because each one of these petals has a crystal encased in it. So it's very neat, very different, very intricate, very sparkly, but something that will definitely make a statement in either a necklace or a bracelet of some sort. More than likely a necklace, because this one would be, well, I don't know. Some people like chunky bracelets too. So anyways, it would look really nice in whatever project that you're planning on doing with it. And then the last thing that came on this strand was a pair of daisies type looking spacers, and they're just in a bright silver color. So then that's the end of the strand. So that's what I purchased from Softflex this month. So meet me back in a second and I will show you the contents of whatever I plan on making in my short little tutorial here. So give me a moment and I'll be right back. Alright, so I am back, and As in most of my unboxing videos that have a tutorial at the end, I usually do a pair of earrings. So I'm going to go ahead and do another pair of earrings today. So the contents that you'll need to get out of the box, and I'm just using contents from the box. I'm not using any of the contents from that extra bead strand. I'll do a separate video on doing probably a little small pair of earrings with the separate bead strand if you have purchased that or have that in your stash as well. So from the box itself, you'll need the pair of ear wires. You'll need to get out 2 of the cat's eye 6mm pink round beads, 2 of the opaque white color beads, 2 of these really neat cages that have the crystals in them. Excuse me. So you need to get those 4 items out of the bag. The extra items that you'll need for the tutorial are going to be some Miyuki seed beads. I have some 8 O's here sitting in the black color, which is Miyuki's number 401. I have 11 O's in the matte black, which is Miyuki's number 401F. Then I have 2 different sizes of jump rings. I have a 6mm jump ring and a 4mm jump ring. You're also going to need some thread and needle, so I'm using the Wildfire 0.006 in black today. Dragon thread size 8 would work very well with this as well. And you'll need some sort of a needle, so I've just got a pony brand style needle, and this one's in a size 11. A 10 would work just as well as well. So go ahead and get all of your supplies out. Meet me back and I'll show you that first step for the earring. Okay, so now we have everything set up as far as what we're going to need. One thing I didn't mention in the last clip, you might want to have a 2 sets of pliers so you can help open up and close those jump rings, and then you'll need some sort of a thread burner as well. So those are things that I kind of forgot to mention in the last clip. What we're going to start off doing is we're going to put a stop bead on our thread. So pick up one of your 8 O's. You can pick up one of your 11 O's if you want to do that instead. Perfectly fine. Both of them work. And then you just want to go back through that 8 O or that stop bead one more time. This is also another one of those good things that if you have a random bead on your bead mat, you can always use that as well so you don't get confused on which beads that you're going to be using in your project. But I'm going to add my first bead, or my first set of beads is going to be an 8 O, the cat's eye bead, and then another 8 O. And what we're going to end up doing in this project is making double right angle weaves in between our beads that we add. So we're going to add a bead, then we're going to do a double right angle weave, then add a bead, do another one, and then add our little cage. So to put this bead on correctly, we're going to go back through the cat's eye bead, and then we're going to go ahead and go back through the 8 O that we added. So we're skipping that last 8 O that we just added. So go back through the cat's eye and the first 8 O, and then that puts that grouping of beads on your project. Now you want to make sure that your tension is not too tight, because sometimes in this type of a project, if you get too tight of a tension, then things may look a little wonky. So just, make sure that your tension's kind of loose, but not too loose to where you have a lot of thread moving or showing in between the beads. So we're going to get back down to this 8 O down here again so we can do our double raw unit. So go back through your cat's eye bead, and then, like I said, I'm usually a tight tension person, so this sometimes is a little bit more difficult for me. But I'm just rearranging that 8 O that's here at the top to hopefully make sure that it sits a little bit better. So I'm coming out of that cat's eye bead, so I'm going to go straight through my 8 O there at the bottom. Then we're going to do a double right angle unit. So to do that, we're going to add 4 of our 11 O's in the matte black, and then we're going to circle back through the 8 O that's sitting there. Now to make this double raw unit, which ends up making it look like a diamond, you need to proceed through that first 11 O that we added. So we're coming out of the 8 O, but we need to proceed through that first 11 O. from here we're going to add our points. So pick up an 8-0. You're coming out of that first 11-0, go through the second one. And then that puts that 8-0 more on the point like a picot almost. So pick up your second 8-0, go through the next 11-0 in line, and then that adds that point to that portion. Pick up your last 8-0 and go through that last 11-0 in line. And then once you get all that put together, and like I said, that tension sometimes can kind of get you, then you should have a double raw unit like that. So now we're going to proceed through the first 11-0. So we're going to skip over that 8-0 that's sitting up against the cat's eye bead. And go straight through that 8-0 or that 11-0. If I can get my thread needle to do it, because it's far away from my face, so it doesn't want to work. And when you skip over that 8-0, if I can ever get this to go through the 11-0, oh my, here we go. Always when you're recording. But when you skip over that 8-0 that's sitting up against the cat's eye bead, then it makes your double raw unit sit a little bit nicer and a little bit more in a picot. The 8-0s sit out more in a picot fashion. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip over the 8-0s if my thread will let me. I'm getting down to that other tip bead, the other end of the double raw unit, and coming out of the 8-0 there at the bottom. So now we're going to add our white bead in the same way. So we pick up the white bead, pick up another 8-0, let that fall down. Then we need to skip over that 8-0 that we just added, go back through the white bead. And this is where you need to make sure that you're going in the right direction. Right now, the thread is coming out of the 8-0 in our double raw unit here at the peak, is coming out of this side, which is on the right side currently. So we need to make sure that we're going through the left side of the 8-0 to round out and make sure that we're not getting too many thread passes on one side or the other, and that will help allow your beads to sit a little bit better on top of the beads, on top of the large beads. So now we need to get back down here. So go back through your white bead and then come out in your 8-0 sitting there. This is where we add our 4 beads. So add 4 11-0s, circle back through the 8-0 that's sitting there. Don't forget to continue through that first 11-0 again. So continue through the first 11-0, and then this is where we add our 8-0, go through the next 11-0 to get those peaks in there. Just doing this one a little bit faster since it's the same steps as what I did after I added the pink bead. And then now I'm coming out of that last 11-0. And then I'm skipping over the 8-0 that's sitting up against the white bead and going straight through the 11-0 down there. And then that finishes the stitch off. So now you have something that looks similar to this. So now we're coming out of this 11-0 sitting down here. We're going to proceed through the double raw unit to get back up through all of these beads so we can get back up here so we can tie off. So that's the next thing that we need to do. So just proceed through whichever way that your thread needle will allow you to go. If you skip those 8-0s and you just go through the 11s and the double raw unit down here as well as up at the top, perfectly fine. Just whatever your needle and thread will allow you to do. And then I'll get you back up to the top just in case you're not familiar with how to tie off your thread and needle. If bead weaving is more of a new thing for you, then I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going back through the 8-0 this time so I can proceed through the white bead. And then try to go through that 8/0 on top. See how this 8/0 is kind of sitting up against, how it's kind of laying up against the white bead here? It's kind of sitting like this. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go through the left-hand side of this 8/0 to get it to sit a little bit better, a little bit nicer up on top of that white bead. So that's one thing that you can do, that if your tension gets really, really tight, like I said earlier, I'm a really tight stitcher. And so sometimes my tension is too tight and things just don't stand, or they don't sit really well. So that's one thing that you can do if you're noticing that that's happening with your beadwork as well. So now we're going back through these. And then we're going to go back through this bead here. And then we're going to go back up through the cat's eye bead, which puts us up here to where we can tie off our thread. So now I'm coming out of the cat's eye bead just before the 8/0. I'm going to take off my stop bead. So we're going to take that black bead off. And then now my thread is sitting right next to each other, so all you have to do is tie a knot. I have my short thread in my right hand, the long thread's in my left hand. I'm going to make a loop to where the short thread goes over the long thread, and then that short thread goes through the loop facing me once, and then pull tight. Then we're going to make another loop to where the short thread goes over the long thread, but the short thread goes through the loop away from me once. And then you pull tight. And then now you have your product is tied off. So let's go ahead and move our thread away from the knot. So I'm going to go back through the pink cat's eye bead. And then when you pull that down, then now we're to a point where we can burn off our thread. So just take our thread burner, and since it's an earring, you can leave just a very small amount of thread sitting there. So you just burn off, and then you use your thread burner and get that thread to kind of ball up a little bit and get it close to your product. Just make sure you don't go through any other thread bridges, because if that happens, you may have to start all over again because you just burnt through your product. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you. It has happened to me in the past. So just be careful with it. Take your time. If you need to, get it up close to your face, which I may need to here in just a second because this is kind of far away from me. And there we go. Okay, so that worked out okay. So now you have a beaded portion that looks like this. So let's get our jump rings out and add the rest of our product together. So I'm going to start off down here at the bottom. So I've got my 6mm jump ring. I already have it open. I'll show you how to open a jump ring with the 4mm if you're not familiar. But this one is already open. So I'm going to go through, first off, that last 8/0 down to the very bottom of that double run unit. I'm going to go through the 8/0 first, and then I'm going to pick up my cage bead that has the crystal in it, and I'm going to pick one of the points, and let's see, I think I'm going to pick this one so it sits more like a rectangle. So I'm going to go through, I hope you can see that. Let me see if I can get it closer. There you go. So I'm going to go through that top of that cage bead with the jump ring. And then I'm going to close up the jump ring, and then our cage bead should be attached then. Whenever you close a jump ring, you always want to go past the opening point just a little bit, so that way it'll snap back and end up closing with a nice little closure. So now that bead is on, so now our earring looks like this. So now let's add our ear wire. Now my ear wires are kind of open here at the top. where the loop is right here. So I'm going to use my chain nose pliers and just close them up some. So that way they're touching so the earring doesn't come apart. And then I'm going to pick up my 4mm jump ring. To open your jump rings, you put pliers on one side of the opening, another set of pliers on the other side of the opening, and then you twist it open. Then we're going to add this to our 8/0 first. Now this is where the knot is at. This is also where you kind of burn down some. So it may take a second for you to get through the bead. Just take your time. It should fit if you're using a 24 or a 22 gauge wire. And mine went through pretty quick. And then just decide if you want this to be your front, if you want that to be your front, whichever way you want your front to go. And then make sure you put your ear wire on in the correct way. So I'm just going through the ear wire with the jump ring and then closing up that jump ring in the same way that we did the 6mm. So now you have a finished earring. Alright, so that's the end of the tutorial. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you make a pair of these earrings as well, or something similar to it, because this was nice and fun and easy to do. So this is the Soft Flex Company March 2025 Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend little pack that you can purchase. And then this is the extra bead strand, the Jesse James bead strand that you can purchase as well. So thanks again for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button as well as the subscribe. And you can make that subscribe an all function so that way you'll get notified whenever I come out with another new video. So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate it. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.